Hi everyone, and welcome to today's Chrissy B Show. We're the only program out there dedicated to mental health and well-being. So it's great to have ambition, but wanting to be successful can also lead a person to become very busy, which is fine as long as it doesn't get out of hand. But what if your schedule starts to turn into a crazy schedule, leaving you little time for yourself? This is what happened to my real-life story guest today, Naphtaly Zimmerman, who ended up getting depressed because of this kind of lifestyle. However, she decided to do something about it and began to practice self-care within the comfort of her own home. However, it didn't stop there because she developed something that turned into an award-winning business. She'll be telling us all about it shortly. We also have on Dr Audrey Tang talking about the great thing with turning a problem into a business, and will be giving us a few business tips too. We'll hear from our news correspondent Helena Chard in a helping of happy, bringing you positive news, and also give you an idea for another fun outdoor activity great for your well-being. And in line with Naphtaly's story, her crazy schedule, she describes it, led to serious issues. So Dr. Rob Hicks will be giving us his advice on how to relax, telling us how he relaxes, and I'll also be sharing what I do to take some me time. Then our beauty expert Sandy Song will be talking about 6 tricks to happy skin. And finally, we'll be going to Hannah Rich's kitchen for a healthy, spicy dish. So let's get started with our real-life story guest, Naphtaly Zimmerman. Welcome to the show, Naphtaly.
Hello, Chrissy.
Where are you from originally?
I'm from Curaçao, which is the Dutch Netherlands Antilles.
Okay.
Yes,
and when did you come over here?
I came to London 2012 in
Okay.
October when I was 17. I was about to turn 18, so I came on my own.
On your own? Wow,
Yes.
It's a big move.
Big
Quite
move,
young.
yes. So I told my family I wanted to study in England.
Yeah.
And it was like, why England? Why can't you go somewhere closer, to
Yeah,
the
I
Caribbean?
imagine.
But I just wanted to go somewhere far, I think, to discover myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what was it like when you came over here?
The first 3 weeks was is like a bit of vacation, I would say, like a holiday type. And then
Seeing all the sights. And
see
everything,
all
yeah.
the sites and everything. But when you started to go to university and finding a job, it was not like gold, like, it shows on TV.
Yeah.
And then it was very hard. You're young and then you're trying to work things out, identify who I am as a person. And going to university was very challenging because I'm trying to, put myself with the other people, trying to fit in.
Trying to make new friends, loads and loads of stuff.
Trying to fit in as well, and then studying hard because you want to make your parents proud, you want to make yourself proud as well, so you don't want to fail at anything. But it was very stressful because you didn't know anyone. I didn't know anyone, and I was studying psychology as well. So first I wanted to study dentistry, and then I was like, I want to help others, so I think I should study something that I want to work with in the future for long term. So I said, okay, let's study psychology. But it was very hard 4 years at uni. It was very challenging. People look at you differently, the way you speak, the way you talk, the way you walk, everything you do. So it's like, I feel all I was doing was just study, work, sleep, study, work, sleep.
Which is an issue, isn't it?
It is very...
There was a time when you weren't actually resting
at
properly.
all.
You weren't taking any time for yourself. Can you tell us how that kind of
That had a toll on
affected
me. Sometimes when you go to work, it's like long shift. Because when I was studying, I was working in hospitality. So it's like 14-hour shift, 12-hour shift. So when you're studying that hard and then you don't have time to do your coursework or whatever, it's like 4 hours sleep, then I feel like I didn't want to go out. I just wanted to close myself in a box. And then I miss my family as well, because you kind of feel lonely and you just don't want to go out. You don't want to talk to anybody. That's how I felt. And then sometimes I just don't want to go out. I close myself at home and I cry. I just didn't want to be here anymore.
Now, it's quite incredible that even though you didn't have time to yourself and everything, that you still managed to actually build a business. How did you actually manage to do that with everything that was going on?
It was during the final year of uni where I was doing my dissertation. It was even worse and crazy, stressful time. And I said, it's now or never. So I need to do something. I was, always saying, okay, next month. I said, no, today's the day I want to create my business plan. It was December 2016. And
but had you always wanted your own business? Or
I always wanted my own business.
Oh, okay,
I know I always wanted to help others, but I never knew what would be my career plan. But I always know I wanted to do something. So it was during the final year of uni. I said, that's what I want to do. I wrote my business plan. I set some goals. I said, I want to.
You made time then.
I made time. I started practicing self-care. So I usually make 2 hours a day for myself.
Oh, even that's nice.
I say, okay, no studying, no nothing, just me time. I have a glass of wine or a cup of tea or whatever, read a book, even body scrubbing, making candles or whatever. I just wanted to create those 2 hours every day for myself.
Naphtaly, can I ask you something? Because some people might be watching now and thinking, but I don't physically have the time to do this. But then they don't kind of realize that if they don't make this time for themselves, they're going to end up losing or wasting the time in something else. Because, for example, they won't be as productive, they won't get as much done because they're so tired and they're not making time.
But that's what happened to me. I used to be like, I don't have time. Like, no, you have 24 hours in the day. I was like, Naphtaly, you have 24 hours in the day. You can do this. If I wake up, for example, at 7 a.m., I woke up at 5 a.m. So I know I have 2 hours for myself. And I said, there's no more excuses, Naphtaly. You can do this. You want to achieve this. And I make plan, I make lists, and I tick as I go. So that's how.
So there's always a way to
There's always a way, but every way there's a way, but everybody's different. So that might have worked for me, but maybe for you is different.
Something else.
But I think there's always time for yourself, and we need to find it because there's only one of you. You need to make time for self-care and you need to make time for yourself.
Because look what happened to you.
Because you lose yourself and you don't want that,
Now, how did your business become an award-winning business?
Well, I started it in everything, and then it was Precious Lifestyle Award. They nominated me, and I was like, maybe I should nominate myself because that made me feel good when I won this award.
Wonderful. Naphtaly, thank you so much for coming on today, and all the best with the future of your business and everything you're doing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, everybody, so now it's time to go to our psychologist, Dr. Audrey Tang, talking about turning a problem into a business. Welcome to the show, Audrey.
Thanks for having me, Chrissy.
So I have to ask you, what do you do to relax?
I like to spend quality time with friends and family, actually, in the sense that I don't always get to see half of my family because a lot of them are in Malaysia. So it's actually really nice when I get the chance to go over there. We go out, we go and eat, and it's just spending that time together, catching up in person rather than just looking at photographs. And that's just such a lovely feeling. So that's my form of relaxation.
Wonderful. We all need it. We all need something. I'll be sharing mine later on when Rob comes on as well. So going to what Naphtaly was talking about earlier. Now, she managed to turn something very negative that she was going through into a business, which is actually an award-winning business today. So what's the great thing about turning something that you've been through into a business?
Well, you are the expert. If you have been through an issue, you know exactly what's happened. You've probably done all the research. You are the most qualified person to be able to talk about your experiences. And if you are also interested in that area, you've got the motivation to actually put all the work in that's needed when you're starting any form of new business. You'll have the networks out there, you'll have the forum groups, you'll have the support already in place. And so you couldn't ask for a better start if you're trying to get something off the ground. So that's definitely the first thing. Also, turning what you've been through into a business can help, especially if maybe the 9 to 5 is not appropriate for you or it's not suitable in some way, because it's absolutely valid to be having something like this bringing you the income. And also, if you have a purpose, it helps your recovery. So it's fabulous. It's a wonderful thing that you can be doing.
Wonderful. Now, sometimes the issue is, however, you start your business, maybe you're just one-man band or one-woman band when you first start, and like you really put everything into it and you're really passionate about it. But then you have to eventually probably employ people who might not have that same kind of drive or passion. So how can you kind of pass that what you feel about the business and the brand and everything that it stands for onto your employees?
One of the first things is to be present, because it's your vision, it's your idea, it's your concept. And so if you are not there and you're trying to get the message through somebody else, it's not always going to come across with the same drive that you could put it across with. Then when you hire your team, yes, there's a lot of legalities that you do have to be aware of. You might have to have things like standard operating procedures, HR procedures, even legal procedures, finance, and all of that in place too. But with your teams, develop them. So once you've got a good team around you, support them in growing for themselves too, because all the things that they learn, they can input back into your business, but also if they want to develop, they're probably also going to have the loyalty to you and still support you, even if they go somewhere else. And that's a wonderful thing. Recruit wisely and don't be afraid to curate. I think that's probably a nice way of putting it, in the sense that if you have recruited somebody and then you think, oh, it's just not working out, have that conversation before it becomes anything more than a conversation, because they might feel it too, and that's important. And be aware of little things like competition. Sometimes if you're starting something up, someone else might think, oh, that's a great idea. I'll join and then learn and then take it away. But never forget that you're the person who's pioneered this, which means that you are ahead of the curve. Yes, you'll make mistakes. Yes, there'll be issues, but you are already doing it. Just carry on being you. One thing I see a lot of when people are starting their own businesses is there's a little bit of a mix between how we use social media. Social media is a tool for business, but it's also a tool that people use to keep in touch with each other. And there's a post that goes around on a very popular social media site, which is something like, people will share a picture of an egg, but if a friend shares something about their business, they don't share it. And I feel really sad when I see that, because realistically, how many posts of our friends talking about the fact that they've done someone's accounts or they've done a legal case or whatever it might be, how many of those do we actually share? Just because we are the business doesn't mean our friends who are using social media as a networking tool to catch up with people are there to work for us as unpaid marketers. So try and keep those two things separate.
That's a good point.
And a big thing that I've learned, which also brings me back to thinking about how I relax, when I take photographs of my friends and going out and relaxing, it's there to capture the memory. It's not a business opportunity. And that's important, to keep the two separate. So when you are a brand and you are also you, try and keep a definite distance between the two.
Good point. Audrey, thank you so much, my love, and see you again soon.
Yes.
Okay, everybody, so after the break, we hear from our news correspondent, Helena Chard, in A Helping of Happy, bringing you positive news. And we also give you an idea for another fun outdoor activity, great for your well-being. Welcome back to today's Chrissy B Show, everybody. So now it's time to head over to Helena Chard for this week's A Helping of Happy. Welcome to the show, Helena.
Thank you, Chrissy.
So today I'll be asking all our resident guests what they like to do to relax. So what's your way or ways?
Oh, I love to do so many things. I love animals, for one. I remember telling a story about needing someone to cuddle all the cats in Manchester. So I love cuddling dogs, cats, any animals. I absolutely love it. I get a lot of joy from that. And I love being outdoors and I love being on the land, but I've recently come back from Cyprus, and even more, just the simplicity of being able to just walk and just see all the wonderful things around me and smell everything. And I actually was so lucky that I could walk on the land and pick my breakfast, sweet corn, peppers, fruit, you name it, and just eat it as I was going along, because there's no pesticides. And it's just so beautiful. And swimming in the sea, just nature in general. Oh, I love it.
Amazing.
I want to do it now.
No, but you're back now, so now it's time for news.
I'm back.
So what do you have for us today?
I want to start off with the dawn chorus. Now, the dawn chorus is early in the morning when you hear all those tweets outside, which is really, really lovely. And it's one of the best antidotes to our stressful lives. And it has actually been proven as well. They've been doing lots of research. So it's a good time to celebrate the benefits. It just makes us feel, physically healthy, mentally healthy, alive, happy. So we feel really good.
Is that the start of a new day, there's like a new beginning, isn't it? So what's happened the day before.
Absolutely. And it's scientists at the University of Surrey who really have discovered it's a way of refocusing. So I mean, I personally love it. And some people it can aggravate, I think, but I love it as well.
I don't hear it enough, to be honest, where I live, but
and also moving on to, so we're avid cyclists here in the UK. We do really well cycling, even at the Olympics and everything like that. So and we love it, and it keeps us fit, and again you get out and about and see the country, which is good. And recently we've had Ride London 2019, which is the annual Prudential ride. I actually was in the middle of it without even realising it, which is quite funny. So I was one of the ones cheering everyone along.
Oh, nice.
And it's 2 days, and there's no traffic, and basically it's 100 miles. You don't have to do the 100 miles, but it's a 100-mile ride through London and Surrey, and it aims to encourage more healthy, active travel, which is it's all really positive. And it was amazing seeing everyone so happy. It was a real joy, which is lovely. And not just that, it raises money for charity. So something like 12 million a year, which is great. And I think it's going to continue for at least another 10 years. So it'll probably go on for more too. So that's all really great. Moving on to this, Melanie Whelan, and she's a businesswoman. So I just found it quite interesting. She has a spin studio class called, called Soul Cycle. And it's cycling inside to sort of like candlelight, so it's like a nice moody setting. But she had this vision, you know, that she was going to do really well, and she always believed in it and believed in all the people that worked with her, so really positive. And she started one studio in New York. She's now got something like nearly 100 studios here and New York and the UK. But she's just saying planning for your downside is actually your greatest weapon in business. And what happened was she was relaunching her website, and she wasn't quite ready, and she was excited, launched it too soon, and it completely collapsed and it lost a lot of work and things. Anyway, she learned from that, and always whenever she's doing something, she has plan B, C, D, E. You know, if we can't get what we want, what should we do? And it's worked really well in her favour. She now has lots of pop-up stands, and they were thinking, if we can't get the main place that we want to get, what should we do? And now she does loads of pop-up stands. But I just think her vision is really great, and it's brainstorming in a group. It really is key, isn't it? So good. And moving on to fighting gym intimidation. This is quite an interesting one, I thought. It's 2 plus-size bloggers who post lots of positive body image stuff, and they're called Laura and Jess, and they're encouraging others to feel comfortable exercising in public. Because she was saying that two of them, they were saying that they feel that they should go on a diet, a lot of people at plus size, in order to go to the gym. But these 2 women are great. They're so positive, and it's just like, just get there. Just put on your joggers, just go. It doesn't matter your size, just enjoy yourself. Everyone, it's the same way. You all burn calories, and it doesn't matter with your size.
And to be honest,
which is really
people
positive.
Just get on with it. They don't even care about who's around them or
But
anything.
it's just so great, and it's this whole passion, and it's just really, it's great for people to see. I found that absolutely positive influence.
Helena, thank you, my darling.
Thank you.
And we shall see you again next week.
You shall.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, everybody, so now it's time to show you our visit to Kent Surf Club for an idea of another fun outdoor activity great for your well-being. Today we are here at the Kent Surf School in Broadstairs, and we're going to be finding out what kind of activities they do here. I hear there's plenty of them. I won't actually be trying the activities myself. It will be my assistant producer Larissa, who's going to be good sport and having a go at everything. And I'm also going to be speaking to the owner here, who's called Andy, to find out how the school started and actually why something like this is great for a person's mental health and well-being. So everybody, this is Andy Webb, who's the owner of this lovely surf school. So Andy, how long has this surf school been going?
So it's been running as a family-run business for 12 years. So myself and my wife started the surf school, and we built it up with our family, my mother-in-law and father-in-law.
And how did you personally get into surfing? Because you love the sea, you love the beach. Tell us about that.
Well, I've grown up around the area. I've been here all my life, and at the age of 13, I got involved with surfing. I went to America in Oregon, and I stayed with a family on a school exchange. And they were a surfing family, so they took me surfing in America. What a great way to start.
Nice, yeah.
And then I came back and found friends at school that surfed, and we just hung out on the beach.
So this is like a dream for you then, doing this?
Pretty much, yeah, it's a dream.
Okay.
It is a dream job.
So why do you think sort of doing an activity like this could be good for someone's well-being?
Surfing, is very spiritual, okay, and you're at peace with the water once you go out there. I believe, personal opinion, with going out paddling and surfing, it kind of takes away the stress of everyday life when you're catching something that is really natural. So like a perfect wave coming in just takes your mind off everything, and you just want to catch that wave. And once you've caught that wave and you're riding it, nothing else matters, and it's so good. And the thing that comes from surfing is meeting other people that have got the same interest in surfing, and that's really, really important.
To make friends, right?
Making friends, and then hanging out, and then planning surf adventures together. I can't tell you how many adventures I've had all over the world with people that I've met from surfing. So
today, Andy, you're going to be actually instructing our assistant producer, Larissa.
That's right.
What we're doing today, which activity have you
chosen?
For?
We're going to do stand-up paddleboarding today.
Okay. What does that involve?
Stand-up paddleboarding is pretty much similar to surfing, but you've got a paddle. So you've got bigger boards, and you're going to be taking them out and then using a paddle to actually motivate yourself on the board, rather than actually paddling with your arms.
Okay, I'm sure she's going to do well.
Oh, she will do well. Yeah. She's got a great instructor. Okay, Larry, so what we're going to learn today is stand-up paddleboarding. So what I'd like you to do is I want you to just lay on your belly on the board. So right down the board like so, with your feet at the end of the board. Can you see? Like so, laying on your belly, okay? Really important. Now this is really important, laying on your belly, to understand how to paddle the board. So if we paddle with our right hand, we will go left. If we paddle with our left hand, we will go right, okay? If we left, right, we will go straight, okay? So positioning is really important on the stand-up paddleboard. So the first position, I take it into a number of steps. The first step that we're going to do is the prone get up, okay? So this is where we've paddled and we go into prone, step one, okay? The next step is we're going to go to step two, and it's really important to bring your knees up. So 1, 2, so we just put them right behind the hands, okay? So they're right behind the hands. So a little bit further up. That's perfect. So when you sit up, you've got the gripper handle just underneath your groin, okay? That tells you that you're in the perfect spot for stand-up paddleboarding. Right, the next thing from here, we can then paddle up the top here, okay? And this will move us forward. Now, if we put our hands directly in front of us, we're going to do the stand-up now. So we've done step 1, step 2, and this is now step 3. So our feet come just behind our hands, 1, 2, always keep the gripper handle near your groin, and we stand up, okay? Excellent, okay? So that's our first positioning that we're going to be doing with paddleboarding. Making sure that your feet are nice and wide apart, okay? So shoulder width apart, excellent, okay? So that's our correct positioning in stand-up paddleboarding.
Larissa, how was it?
It was amazing.
Yeah? You did really well. Well done.
Amazing.
How did it feel?
Nice way to relax.
Yeah?
Guys, I'm very happy. Thank you.
Wonderful. How did she do, Andy?
Pardon?
She did really well, don't you think?
Yeah, she's done awesome. Really
Yeah.
good. The pro, straight away to it.
You repeat, you come back here.
Yeah, and do it again.
In a couple of minutes learning, you've done fantastic. So well done.
Well done.
Awesome.
Woo!
Thank you.
Thank you very much to the Kent Surf Club there. So after the break, we're having our beauty expert, Sandy Sommer, talking about 6 tricks to happy skin. And following on from Naphtaly's story earlier, her crazy schedule, she describes it, led to serious issues. So Dr. Rob Hicks will be giving his advice on how to relax. He'll be telling us what he does as well to de-stress, and I'll also be sharing my ways to have some me time. Hi, I'm Chrissy B, host of the UK's only TV programme dedicated to mental health and well-being, The Chrissy B Show, which airs on MyTV Sky 191 every Monday, Wednesday and Friday. Follow our social media on YouTube, Instagram and Twitter at Chrissy B Show, and our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show. For more information, visit chrissybshow.tv. Welcome back to today's Chrissy B Show, everybody. So we normally have doctors' answers on this segment of the programme, but today's going to be a bit different. We still have Dr. Rob Hicks with us. Hello, Rob.
Hi, Chris.
Well, we're going to be talking about the importance of self-care and taking time to relax, because as we saw from our real-life story guest earlier, because she didn't make that time for herself, she didn't take time to relax or anything like that, she got really overwhelmed and even got depressed. So it's very, very important for us. It's not something to feel guilty about. It's not a luxury. It's something that we all need. So, Rob, what do you do to relax?
Well, I would just follow up immediately what you said. Self-caring is not selfishness.
Yes.
We shouldn't feel guilty about looking after ourselves, because if we look after ourselves, we're in a much better position to look after others.
It's very true.
Properly. What do I do to relax? Well, there are lots of things. I love a cup of tea.
Yeah.
The natural...
Always have to have a cuppa.
Yeah, the lateral break of having a cup of tea, making it, sitting there, enjoying the tea. Ideally not in front of the work screen, but just sitting, just nourishing myself with a cup of tea. I love to read, and I'll pick up anything, whether it's from the library, from the charity book shop, or something I just see lying around.
Do you prefer the physical books, like the touch of
I do.
I do as well. I don't know, I can't read off.
I very rarely read off my phone or off a tablet. I like to have the book. And in essence, I think that takes me away from work, because often, if you're on a tablet, you're on your phone, it's involved in work in some way. And recently I've rekindled my interest in knitting.
Yes, we heard about that last time.
Actually, it's the one thing that keeps me so far away from the phone, I won't even look at the phone.
You can't do anything else when you're knitting, actually, really. You have to concentrate.
In fact, I've really got to concentrate when I do it even now. I could talk to you a little bit, but otherwise, things go horribly.
What are you making
wrong.
there? You started
This is actually going to be a cushion cover.
Oh.
And it'll be, for to use at home. But it's just a very, very relaxing, activity.
Can I try? It looks really. I used to do this when I was younger. And I can't remember even what side to hold. It's that way, isn't it?
Yeah. So what you're going to do is just put that needle through there. That's it. Wrap the yarn around, and then just pull it over, pull it out and over.
Oh.
And then you've got it.
I did well there. I've contributed to your cushion cover.
Absolutely. So we'll mark that one as your stitch.
Thank you.
And the other sort of things I enjoy, of course, is, I like to sing, as I've said before. I like to listen to music. I like to look at photographs of, my family, my friends, happy memories. And you'll note that all these things are what we call instant de-stressors. You can just reach for them. It's not like saying, I like to go on a holiday, because you have to wait for that. But these are all very instant. What about you? What do you do to relax?
I like, especially at night time, I kind of like to set the bedrooms in a nice, relaxed atmosphere. So I make sure it's always clean, for example, it's well aired out. And I always sort of turn the main lights off, and I've got the 2 side lights on. So it's just very nice and relaxing. I love to use diffusers, and we have our aromatherapy experts on, but I love using lavender. So this is my, you guys, you can't smell this, but it does smell amazing. I put a few drops in, I don't do this every night, but just particular times when I've had maybe a hard day and it's been like really kind of a lot of work to do and I just need to switch off, because sometimes it's hard to switch off when you've got so many things in your head. So...
I think one of the important things is actually that we do these things not just when we need to, but actually on a regular basis. So I've said before on the programme, every hour, take 5 minutes to relax and unwind.
Yeah.
Every day, spend at least 30 minutes doing something that you find enjoyable that helps you relax. Yeah. And if you're struggling to do that, then schedule it. Put it in your diary. Put it in the calendar. Yeah. Actually put a timer on to announce it.
Yeah. Can you smell that, Rob?
Oh, it's lovely.
It's lovely, isn't it?
Lavender is actually very, very relaxing.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's one of the things. Another thing that relaxes me is my cat, because she's so funny and she's so cute and she just makes me laugh so much. So I love having it. Even sometimes when I'm working from home and like she's just there next to me, I love that. I love green places. I love fields and like, just anywhere green with lakes and parks and trees and nature. I love that as well. I especially love tea shops, as you know.
I was about to say, a little bird told me
tea shops
are your ultimate relaxation.
Quiet ones, vintage ones, places where I can maybe go with friends or family and stuff like that. So that relaxes me. I don't get to do it very often, but as soon when I can, I do that. But it's so important, and everyone's relaxation is different.
There's no one size fits all. It's about finding out what works for you as the individual and doing that. And you mentioned tea shops with friends. I think it's always helpful to have something to look forward to. Yeah. So plan something. It doesn't have to be a holiday or trip to the theatre, but maybe just to catch up over a cup of tea with friends and say, look, next Thursday we're going to. Yeah. So you've always got something that you're thinking at the back of your mind when things are getting a bit pressured. You say, well, I've got this to aim for. Yeah. I've got this to look forward to. And again, I would highlight though, if you're feeling overwhelmed with your stress, have a chat with your doctor.
Yeah, definitely.
Because we know that too much stress contributes to heart disease and strokes and anxiety and depression and a whole host of health conditions that we don't want people to go through. Yeah. And actually, if they put into practice regular relaxation in whatever way works for them, you've got a very, very good chance of living a long, healthy and happy life.
Definitely. So remember, everybody, it's not selfish. Self-care is not selfish.
Absolutely.
It's being
right.
smart. We've got a quote.
Oh,
Let's do it again.
That. Yes.
Self-care is not selfish. It's smart. I'll leave it on that, Rob. Thank you so much.
My pleasure, Chris.
And we'll see you again next time.
You will indeed.
Will you finish that by the next time you come in?
I will try my hardest, yes.
All right, wonderful. Thank you. Okay, everybody, so now it's time to go to our beauty expert, Sani Sorma, talking about 6 tricks to happy skin.
Hi, my name is Sani Sorma, and I am the resident beauty expert here at the Chrissy B Show. Today, I really want to talk to you about happy skin. Now, I know that we talk a lot about mental health issues, but your skin can be happy too. For example, my skin actually gets very, very unhappy during the summer months because of increased heat, because of pollution, because of sunscreens. My skin doesn't react very well at all. It gets irritated. I start getting breakouts and it just feels uncomfortable. So I wanted to give you a couple of tips for happy, unirritated and glowing skin. So my first tip is actually nothing really to do with skin, but just to get you into the right mood, is a little de-stressing rollerball. I love to do this. If I have time to do makeup properly, I put a little bit on my temples and then I just massage it in. It gets me into the right kind of frame of mind, I suppose. And you just massage it in really, really nicely. And then whatever I have left on my fingers, I tend to put on my pulse points. And that kind of soothes me already. It's all kind of natural oils, nothing that is bad for you. Now, when we start doing skin, skincare, oils are what I personally am really favoring right now. Most of them come with like a little pipette, and you can either put it straight onto your face. I tend to first put it on my hand, and then you massage it into the skin very, very lightly. And don't be afraid to put oil on your skin. Oil on the skin, when a lot of the modern oils, so we're not talking olive oil or coconut oil, we're talking skincare oils, and they do sink in even if you have kind of slightly problematic irritated skin like I do. Like for example, this one is specifically for congested skin. So I really enjoy that. And because it has essential oils, it just kind of adds to that relaxed and de-stressed kind of feel. So it increases, when I'm using a oil, it really kind of increases the blood flow. So it kind of perks your skin up, makes it a little bit rosier and glowier. And it also, because of the essential oils, makes your mood more calm and happy at the same time. Now, moving on to foundation. So what I suggest for foundation is mixing two things. So mixing your regular foundation with an illuminator. And what that achieves is, I'm just gonna show you here. I'm putting a little bit of the foundation on the back of my hand and a little bit of illuminator. So first of all, it thins down the foundation so you get a slightly kind of like a more sheer coverage, but also it really makes you kind of look like you're glowing from within. And I really love the glow that it gives you. It's not overly glowy, it just makes it feel like you're lit from within, I guess. So for my next tip, we're gonna talk about blusher. And I suggest, if you're suffering from irritated, unhappy skin, I suggest actually using a cream blusher. Now, this might seem a little bit counterintuitive, I guess, but the thinking behind it is, unless you're really good at washing your brushes on a weekly basis, like most people aren't. I have to, even though I'm a makeup artist, I sometimes forget to wash my own brushes all the time. Bacteria tends to grow in them and it builds up, and bacteria equals irritated and unhappy skin. So what I prefer to do when my skin is feeling a little bit unhappy is use a cream blush and then just clean fingers, always wash your hands obviously, and mix it onto the skin. Now, the nice thing about cream products like this is you can actually just take an antibacterial wipe that you can buy in any kind of pharmacies. They're super cheap. I just buy Boots' own brand personally. And once I've used it, I just wipe the top layer off. So anything that my fingers, even though I've got clean fingers, anything that they might have had, you can just like completely wipe it off. And it is a pro makeup artist tip, so we obviously do this to all of our products after work, but actually doing it on your own products and with cream products is super easy, will really reap benefits in the long run. You'll notice a difference in your own skin. Another happy skin tip is natural products. So anything that goes on your skin, there's a big benefit to keeping things as natural and chemical-free as possible. One of my favorite brands is RMS Beauty for natural raw products. And this is a highlighter. It's also a cream product. So you can, again, disinfect it exactly the same way as I showed you with the blush before. No need to use any kind of brushes or anything like that. And this product is just full of natural goodness. And I do believe that they're actually not only natural and vegan, but they're also raw. So you're really putting a lot of goodness into your skin, and your skin should be basically glowing with happiness afterwards. So my last tip, having now talked about using your fingers and not brushes, we're gonna be using a brush. Certain products you can't really get away with not using a brush, and one of those is powder. You could use a powder puff, but unfortunately it has exactly the same problem as brush. So it does gather bacteria. And personally for me, I feel like a brush is easier to wash than one of those powder puffs. And another problem with a powder puff is if you're using a compact and a powder puff, any oil from your skin transfers onto the compact. And I don't know if you've noticed that sometimes they get that kind of a hard shell. That's oil and bacteria from your skin. So when I am using a brush, I do actually wash it. And my best tip for irritated skin to soothe it back is using a mineral powder when you're powdering. So these again are super natural products. In general, a lot lighter than a heavy going, like more chemical kind of powder. And whenever I have any kind of breakouts, I always refer back to mineral powders. So those were my tips for happy, soothed, and non-irritated skin. I hope you enjoyed them, and I will see you again soon.
Thank you very much to Sani there. So after the break, we'll be going to Hannah Richards' kitchen for a spicy, healthy dish. Welcome back to today's Chrissy B Show, everybody. So now it's time to head over to Hannah Richards' kitchen for a healthy and spicy recipe.
Hello and welcome to the Chrissy B Show. My name's Hannah and today we're going to do an omelette. So what you're going to need for your omelette is a red onion, a shallot, lots of chilli, so you could use cayenne pepper, black pepper, chili powder, turmeric powder, ginger, fresh ginger, lots of different things. There's huge amounts of spices that are going to give it a really big chili flavour. I've got some fresh chilies here as well. Be careful not to use the seeds. And then we're going to layer the omelette with some fresh organic spinach, a really great source of magnesium and of iron. And it's really important to get your greens in the morning as well. And then some hen's eggs. So let's get chopping. So peel off the outer layer. I'm going to put my pan on. You can use butter, you could use coconut oil, you could use olive oil. I've got a very good cold pressed virgin oil here. The heat's going to be low throughout this recipe, which is why olive oil will work for it. Just make sure it isn't too high. So chop down those shallots and put to one side. Then take your red onion. I always use a red onion, it's just more exciting than a white onion. Especially in a dish like this where you're going to see all the colours. If you were doing a casserole, then white onions are great, but just creates a bit more excitement. Take off the outer layer. Now a tip I heard the other day was if your onions make your eyes run, you should wear swimming goggles. And I can already start to feel these onions getting into my eyes. I'm gonna have to be quick. Okay, so we're gonna put the shallots into the pan. And I'm just gonna use half of one of these red onions. And add in those red onions. So you wanna make sure that these onions and shallots really sweat down so they're nice and soft. You almost don't want to notice them in the omelette. They certainly don't want to have any crunch to them. So we're gonna let them sit and sweat out there. In the meantime, I'm gonna take my fresh chilies. I'm gonna take a medium one. And with your chili, just score it down the middle, like that. And then you can open him up and you can take the seeds out from there. Just sort of give them an extra little fine chop over them to squeeze the flavour out. And then add that chili into the onions. Now, if you were a bit short of time, what you could do is you could put a lid on those onions and really sweat them out a little bit more. But I can see and I can feel that they've started to soften up. So just take a lid and cover, and you can leave them for about 2-3 minutes, and then when the lid comes off, you'll see how much softer they've got. So in the meantime, I'm going to take some nice little sweet cherry tomatoes. These cherry tomatoes came off the vine. Tomatoes that come off the vine have just got so much more flavour, so it's really worth, you know, maybe spending a little bit extra or going to your grocers so that you can find tomatoes on the vine. So I'm just gonna maybe do 10 of these, cut them in halves. There we go. And then I'm gonna add them to the onions and the shallots. So after sort of 2 or 3 minutes, the onions are now sort of sweated out. So we're going to throw in the tomatoes. And the tomato will give a little bit of extra juice and liquid, and it'll also create more heat because tomatoes have got an amount of water in them as well. But again, guys, we've got a lot of colour coming through this dish, and the more colours you have, the more ingredients you have, the more nutrients, vitamins you're going to have and get into your diet and create a really healthy, not only healthy body, but a healthy gut, healthy skin, happy mood. So you can't have enough ingredients, basically, is what I'm saying. Okay. So then we've got our spinach. This is spinach. This is some organic spinach. You could use chard at this time of year. You could use some spring greens. You could use your beetroot leaves. Anything really, but just make sure there's a presence of greenery in this dish. So all I'm going to do is cover the tomatoes and the onions with a layer of spinach like that. And again, I'm going to sweat it out so you'll see the spinach will wilt down to almost nothing and give us a nice thin layer over the top. So there you see, there's the wilted spinach, and that's what you want it to look like. So now, guys, you're going to start cracking your eggs right over the top. Sometimes cracking eggs can take a bit of practice, but just make sure they all cover the spinach. There we go. And just give it just move all that yolk and the whites around the pan, covering all the spinach. You see? Don't worry that the yolks have cracked or that you've mucked them up. It gives it a nice look and it helps spread the egg all around the spinach as well. So I'm just going to sprinkle some hot chili powder on. You don't have to, but I like to have a really good metabolic kick in the morning, get the appetite firing. And then I'm going to sweat these eggs out again. So just put the lid on the top, and that will help the heat, trap the heat and cook the top of the eggs as well as the bottom. So a bit like a steamer. Well, okay, so guys, make sure you're really keeping an eye on these eggs because you don't want to overdo them. And as you can see, sometimes they stick to this pan. So there we go. Now what you'll see is you want to sort of see that the eggs have almost poached out a little bit, and that happens when you split the egg from the egg white. So in my mind, they're completely done. We're going to turn that heat off. Now the tricky bit is getting them out of the pan. Okay, so then very gently loosen the omelette all the way around, and you're just coaxing it. There we go. You need a strong arm and a bit of determination, and you get your spicy omelette dead center in the plate, ready to start.
Thank you very much to Hannah Richards for that recipe, and also to all my other guests on today's program. Now, did you know that you could actually use what you're going through right now, a difficult situation, for something really positive in the future? When I was going through my problems, the depression, the way that I felt about myself, I never ever dreamed that I would be using those problems to help people today. It was something that didn't even cross my mind, because I was in such a dark hole. I was in such a horrible place where I couldn't really see any light at the end of the tunnel, even though I was always hopeful that something good would happen and that my life would change. But I never ever thought that I'd be able to help anyone or inspire anyone. So it's good for you to remember this. If you are in a difficult place right now, if you are in a dark place right now and it seems like you're suffocating, that there doesn't seem to be a way out, you've tried so many things to relieve what you're feeling, but it's not working. First of all, remember never to give up, never ever to give up, because I'm a living example of someone that was in a horrible place and that managed to find help and turn everything around. So reach out. If you need to reach out to me, I'm here for you. Or, make sure you get help. So first of all, never ever give up. And second, always have in the back of your mind, one day I'm going to use this to help someone else. Even if it's one person that I make a difference for, that it's all worth it. Because let me tell you, there's nothing more rewarding than having been through something really bad and then be able to identify when people kind of talk to me, for example, about what they're going through and about I speak to so many people that describe my life 22 years ago, and I feel actually really excited, because obviously I wait for them to talk and to explain everything and tell me what's going on, and I feel so excited to share my story with them. And they always feel so positive and hopeful, and that you can see the excitement in them as well, because they know that, well, if it happened to me, it can happen for them as well. So it's something so rewarding to be able to give back. So make sure that, when you recover and when you've got yourself on track, reach out to others as well, because you know what it feels like. You know how horrible some days can be and how dark and dreary, no matter what's going on. You know how that feels. So imagine now being able to share that story with someone else and actually help them as well. So it's really, really rewarding. So remember, if you are in a dark place right now, reach out, get help, and one day you could also be an inspiring story. Well, everyone, we have reached the end of today's program, but if you have a story that you would like to share with us, please do get in touch by emailing info@chrissybshow.tv. You can also tweet or Instagram us @ChrissyBShow, or leave a message on our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show. If you'd like more information about the program, you can visit our website, chrissybshow.tv. And if you'd like to know more about me and my mental health journey, you can visit my personal website, which is mylifeafterdepression.com. Till next time, bye-bye for now. So after the break, we have our beauty expert, Sani Sorma, talking about, did that sound like a... Yeah. All right, sorry, it was the chair, Sorry, I will stop. Sorry, can I do that again, please? Yeah, you can.